All right. How's it going? All right. So I'm gonna do a update here real quick on how to fix Kodi posters not showing up. I did a video on that a while ago and it had like 17,000 views. So some people are probably having issues with it or whatever, and there's some updated stuff I can show you. So um, first, I'll just do a quick run through of my Kodi setup. Um, Basically, I run a MySQL server. I have a couple videos. More still to come. Sorry that took so long for anyone who watched the first two and was looking for the others. I haven't done them yet. I have the footage, but I never edited them. Um, but I'll do that, or maybe I'll just do a live stream on how to do it. But so basically, I have a MySQL server, which isn't really that important for this. Um, so the reason I assume most people have their movies imported, and the posters will show up here in a second. Most people have their movies imported already. Um, if that's the case, usually why a poster won't show up is because the year is wrong and it's scanning in the wrong thing. So first and foremost, um, go to wherever you keep your movie files, and you should name. I've said this over and over, but you should have. So here's the folder. It's on my server, but I have it mapped to this computer. But here's the folder where I keep my movies, and my movies are in a folder called movies, and then each movie is in its own folder, and it's named accordingly. You can do the apostrophes or brackets or whatever after the year or not. It doesn't matter. Some of mine don't have that. But make sure that the year is correct. If you need to check what year it came out, you can just go to IMDb and look it up there. Just look up what year and put that in. If it doesn't work and it doesn't scan in correctly or the poster doesn't show up, try a year ahead. Try renaming both the folder and the file a year ahead of whatever it says on IMDb, because sometimes the Kodi scrapers will be a year off. But this is how you want to name them: the name of the movie, space, and then the year with the brackets or not. Then you want the file name the exact same thing on the inside, and the year and the spelling is most correct. Also, you want to go check if it's a picky movie that isn't scanning incorrectly. I don't know if I have a good example. Well, here. Dead Alive 1992. If you click on this, you'll notice there's somewhere in here it'll say other names for the movies. Like if a movie was named something and the name changed, or it has more than one name depending on the region, that can throw it off too. So I think it's oh, well, look around. I don't know where it is exactly on here, but somewhere on here it'll have a spot where it'll say alternate names um for the movie. Like for instance, this movie is brain dead everywhere except the United States. Here it's called Dead Alive. So that'd be a good example of that. Now, if all your movie posters aren't scanning in, then you have something wrong. If you just have like, a few picky ones, then you can do a couple things. Like I had a few that just would not pull posters, and what I ended up doing um is manually downloading the posters. So a good example of that let's go here. So first you need to know where your Kodi folder is located. It's located in your app data folder. If you can't find this on your computer, you need to go here, type in folder or file explorer options, click on view, and click the show hidden files and folders and drives, click apply, click OK. And then this app data folder will show up, and how you get to that is the C drive, should be C drive, but whatever the operating system is on, users, your username, and then app data right here. And inside of app data in roaming, Kodi, this is where, and then user data, this is where most of your stuff is. This is where your advanced settings file is, which if you're setting up MySQL, you need to know where that is. And then you have thumbnails in here, and these are all the movie posters and actor thumbnails and stuff that get scraped. And I made a folder called manually added, and then I downloaded like here's movies that just wouldn't show up that I have. The Final Patient, for I don't even know what some of these are, but so I had to download these, put them in that folder, and then I went to settings and see here. Sorry, give me a second. I think it was in. Oh, here. So I went to add video, or I did add videos. Okay. So I went to there, did add videos, and then I added a network location. Um, so if you're on a MySQL with a bunch of different Kodis, you'll have to add a network location and point it to the server. Is the best way to do it. Otherwise, you can just add it wherever you put the folder with the manually added movie posters. So in here, I have, this is my server, and then I made that folder called posters, and I put them in here. And then once you get that done, you can click information, and then down here choose art, hit poster, and then you can actually browse to it. And if you have that poster location added, when you hit it, this is pointing to the folder with the posters in, and then you can just select it. That's not ideal. You don't want to do that if you have a ton of posters showing up, but if you just have a couple movies here and there that don't have posters showing up, then that works. Another thing you can do is, again, if you're running a MySQL, you can, or even if you're not running a MySQL, you can delete. Here, I'm going to back this up. You might want to back this up first. This folder, this thumbnails folder from the directory I showed you up here. So local disk users, name, app data, roaming, Kodi, user data, thumbnails. So after we back this up, what we're gonna do is just delete this and then close Kodi, which we can do now. Sorry, it's taking a while. Before you delete this, though, make sure you back it up somewhere. Make sure you copy it somewhere. Because if the posters don't come in, it may mess it up more. Um, but I'll show you here. Another thing you can do too while that's copying, you can try changing the movie poster. So just looking for one to change here. I guess it really doesn't matter, but whatever. We'll try this one. So you go down here, choose art, poster. You can just pick a different one. And sometimes that will do it. If there's no art here at all, then it didn't scrape it and pull it down correctly. You also want to make sure that in your movie folders, there's no NFOs. So you can search up here, NFO, and I have no NFOs. If you have NFOs, go ahead and delete them unless you've backed up from Kodi and you have your posters. Because when you back up stuff from Kodi, when you export library like this, if you do separate, that will put all the thumbnails and everything that you have set for the movie posters and everything into the actual movie folder where it's stored, which is another reason why you want to have each individual movie file in its own folder. But when I do this, when I back up, I'll do a single file. I don't ever back up with separate because it'll just put a bunch of NFOs and movie posters and whatnot in the actual movie folder, and I don't want that. Okay, that looks like it's done copying, so we'll exit out of Kodi. Maybe. Just gonna force close it here. So, alright, it's closed. We have that backed up. Come on. Oh, don't tell me this is going to take forever. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, so that's not there anymore. So now when we start Kodi, you'll notice all my movie posters are gone, or a lot of them. And now they just popped up. But you'll notice, like, they're not all there because they're not all cached. And if you look here, the thumbnails, it's back. And it's only 7.8 megabytes. 8 megabytes. So right now it's scanning in the movie posters. And for me, it's doing it off the MySQL server. I think the SQL stores that, and what this is cache for it. So right now it's grabbing them off SQL server, I believe. I think anyway. It's loading them from there, and then I think that folder is like the cache, so I can get to them quicker. Because that folder will duplicate. Now, if you have a backup of your movie posters, you can just move that thumbnails folder back into its spot, and they should just show up right away. So that's kind of how you can fix them, and you might have to like scan over these, and it'll take a while for this to populate and reload all the posters after you do this. But if you scroll through them like this, it tends to speed it up a little bit. And we'll look at one of those movies that that wouldn't load for me, one of the ones I had to manually add. Let's take a look at that. So if we look at manually added, and this is from the backup, so this folder I don't think will be in the new one unless it grabbed it from the server, but let me see here. Yeah, see, the manually added folder isn't in here. So, best friends forever. Stupid title. Oh, look at that. It actually grabbed the poster on its own this time. So this movie would not grab a poster for me last time. I had to manually add this poster in here. But now since I deleted, that folder and re-added it, it's, it added it on its own. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, I would, if you have movie poster issues, I would back up that folder, the thumbnails folder, like I told you to, and then delete it, and then try closing and reopening Kodi and see if more of them scan in. The other option you can do if you're having issues scanning in with posters is you can always go to info. If it's just a couple, you can refresh it. This is not possible while scanning for media, but if you refresh it, you can make sure it's grabbing the right movie, and it'll try to scrape it in again. Other than that, I don't really have anything for how to get posters to show up. It's not too complicated. I mean, you want to make sure that your settings are correct. So if you go to media library, if you go to videos, so settings, media, videos, make sure you have it on expert down here. This is how I have mine set. I have video tags off and extract thumbnails from video files off. You can try turning that on. It might work better for you, but I keep mine like this, and it seems to grab everything pretty good. Because you want it to grab stuff from the scraper, not necessarily from the file itself. So, see how this is doing here. See, look, a bunch of mine didn't come in now. And that might just take a while too. I'm not sure, but another thing too is I have over 6,000 movies locally stored, so it's quite a bit for it to pull in. Yeah, I think it's just gonna take a while. When you see a bunch of options like this, but they don't have a thumbnail here, generally it's taking time to pull them in. Like it knows there's remote art somewhere, but it doesn't have that. It hasn't downloaded it yet, so that's a good sign. So anyway, yeah, I would give that a try. And just to show you too. So if we exit out of here again, and then if we delete that and put the backup in there, where was? And then if we open up, now all my posters are back. See that? So once you get all your movie posters the way you want them, I would highly recommend backing up that thumbnail folder, because if something happens or whatever, you can put that back in there, and it should repopulate them like it just did for me. So I hope that helps. I don't know, it was kind of rambly video, just live streaming it off the cuff, but hopefully that helps a little bit. If I think of anything else for missing movie posters, I'll maybe do a follow-up, but the most important thing is to have the movies named correctly, have them in a folder called movies, and then have each movie file in its own folder, named correctly with the correct year. That is the most important thing to get your movies to scrape in correctly, including movie posters and everything else. So, anyway, have a good one. Hope that helped. If it didn't, sorry. Maybe leave a comment in the description and I'll get back to you. Thanks.